Hi kids, Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I post this stuff up to Facebook and other social media. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. I would like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp. Wait, there we are. BetterHelp. BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They are international. They are affordable. That's what I love. They have packages of like $65 a piece, I think was the last time I checked. But they're really affordable and they're good and they're helping people. And that makes me so happy. So thank you. BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. If you need therapy, go there. BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. Okay. All right. So today's question is name calling something that narcissists do? Yes, it is, especially when we're not doing what they want us to be doing. So in the words of Isaac Asimov, name calling and violence are the last refuge of the incompetent. So basically, somebody who needs to call somebody names and somebody who uses violence, there are other ways to get what you want or get what you need without doing that. So I love that Isaac Asimov did that. It was in this Foundation series of Foundation books. So yeah, name calling is absolutely something that they do. So when they're feeling really threatened, when you're standing up for yourself and you're not putting up with their BS, that's when the name calling starts. That's when they start telling you you're stupid or you're crazy. You're crazy is their favorite one because it's, that's the biggest fear of every single person dating somebody who's abusive is that we're the ones that are nuts, because we see the behavior, but they're gaslighting us and they're telling us, oh no, you don't see this, you don't see this, I'm not doing this, when they're doing it, right? So yeah, they absolutely, and name calling plays on that fear of being inferior, of being not enough, not good enough, not smart enough, not pretty enough, not smart enough, not handsome enough, not, whatever. And so they start the name calling because they're trying to get at you. They're trying to, and honestly, the second somebody starts calling names, that's when I go, oh, they've lost, they don't have a leg to stand on. That's the only thing they can come up with. Wow, that's a pretty weak thing to come up with. So yeah, absolutely. Narcissists do that. And the intent is to make you feel inferior because they're thinking that if they say, oh, you're crazy and you're stupid and you're this and you're that, that you'll crumble into a million pieces and just acquiesce to whatever they want. Because they're so used to their targets of abuse being codependent, needing the approval, needing validation, needing to be loved, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when you stand up to one of those abusers and and they don't have a logical argument, they will start with the name calling. Now, I want you to be aware of that in society as well. Whenever you hear anybody, politician, newscaster, I don't care, anybody, start doing name calling and throwing names that have nothing to do with anything, you're dealing with somebody who's in a position that their position is not strong. So, like I said, name calling and violence is the refuge of the incompetent. And so, because the abuser does not have a leg to stand on, logically, they start with the emotional arguments. And that's why their arguments are circular. That's why they do the word salad. That's why they drag in stuff that, maybe happened, maybe didn't happen, and they'll pull it into this conversation that you're having now to confuse you. That's intentional. And then they'll throw out some name calling to try to make you feel less than so that you'll stop, so that you stop questioning them, so that you stop arguing with them, so that you stop fighting them, and so that they get their way. So yeah, name calling is absolutely something that they do. It is a manipulation. It is part of the fear, right? They're trying to make you feel afraid. They're trying to make you feel inferior. Obligation, they're trying to intimidate. Obligation, you owe me, or guilt. So they're doing all of that. I'm such a great guy or gal for taking care of you because you're crazy and nobody else would put up with you. So previous video that I did on Wednesday, nobody else will put up with you. It's like, oh, wait a minute. What is this about? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the name calling is absolutely intentional. Don't think it's not. And it is because you are dealing with somebody who is operating on the level of an 18-month-old to maybe a 2-year-old, maybe. And when they don't have a leg to stand on, that's when they go for the emotional arguments. And the emotional arguments are, you're crazy, you're a biatch, you're this, you're that, you guns. So I can guarantee you, the more that they start doing the you guns, okay, well, there's 2 fingers pointed out at you. Oh, look at that. There's 6 fingers pointed back at them. They are talking about themselves. So a lot of that name calling is really what they think about them. But they can't process that. It can't be them. It has to be somebody else. It's always, it's always out here. It's never in here. So the second you hear somebody do a name calling thing, any kind of name calling, they're talking about themselves. So, yeah, something to keep in mind. It is a form of manipulation. It is a way to make people feel less than. It is a way to control. It is a way to elevate themselves. And really, what they want is to shut you up. Their ultimate goal, by pulling in the word salad. So I'm sure you guys have experienced word salad, where like you call them out for something that they've done, and suddenly, well, you do it too, and this time when that happened, and things that have nothing to do with the argument, they're pulling it in, and it suddenly doesn't make sense, and you're sitting here going, wait a minute, we were talking about doing the dishes, what the hell? And suddenly he or she is pulling in all of this stuff from like 10 years ago, and you're like, what? Or stuff that didn't even happen, or stuff that doesn't even make sense. That's a lot of the time. Their word salad sounds like it should make sense, but it doesn't. And you're sitting there trying to follow along, and you're like, what? So when they realize they're losing an argument or they're losing their stance, yeah, they revert to word salad and name calling. Those are their 2 favorite things to do, or flipping the script as well. They'll flip the script. So suddenly it's your fault that the dishes didn't get done, even though it was their day to do it. Does that make sense? So yeah, it absolutely, it's a tactic, and it's a very immature tactic. Honestly, if you're dealing with an adult that's calling somebody names, how old is that person? Really? And that goes for anybody. Politicians, romances, offices, bosses, coworkers, they start calling names. You're dealing with somebody who's in a losing position, who is name calling and violence is the refuge of the incompetent. That's the best thing I can say. That was a great quote from Isaac Asimov. So yeah, they're in a losing position, and they're losing, and they know it, and they can't stand it. So they're going to project all of their bad stuff onto the other person, because they can't be wrong. They can't lose. They can't. No, this is you. You're this way. You're that way. You're crazy. You're this. You're that. No, you're not. They are. So, whew, yeah, they're nasty. They're very, very nasty. And they're very, very vindictive. And they need you to drink their Kool-Aid. They need you to believe that you are crazy. They need you to believe that you are less than. They need you to believe that you're stupid. They need you to believe, because then that suits their narrative, and it keeps you stuck in that never-ending cycle of, I need to please them. I need to get their approval. I need to do this. I need to do that. And you're never going to please them. They are unpleasable. There is nothing you can do to make that person not be that person. Seriously. It's like, you cannot love them into sanity. You cannot like them into sanity. You cannot logic them into sanity. You have to use logic for yourself. It's kind of like, wait a minute. All of these name calling things, that's them. That's not me. And you have to trust who you are, which is why self-esteem is so hugely important. It really is the key. Self-esteem, knowing who you are, certainty, that is the key. So when you're dealing with somebody who's doing that, run. Do not walk to the nearest exit. You're dealing with somebody who's desperate, number 1, who's incompetent, number 2, and who is never going to concede their position, ever. Narcissists are never wrong, ever. Even when they're caught red-handed with their hand in the cookie jar, they will blame somebody else. They'll flip the script. It's your fault. You made me. Or no, you're not seeing what you're seeing. Seriously, that's what they do. So yeah, if somebody's doing that, you leave. There is no fixing that. You can't fix narcissists. Narcissists are pretty much stuck in their very juvenile behavior, and the best thing to do is to leave. If somebody's calling you names, that's a disrespect, and that should be on your list of deal breakers. So like, seriously, list of deal breakers. Top 1, do not put up with disrespect. If a person disrespects me, they're gone. So what is a disrespect? Calling you names. Oh, yeah, you betcha. Name calling, that's disrespectful. That's absolutely disrespectful. You do not tolerate that. Lying, don't tolerate that either. Cheating, don't tolerate that either. Rewriting history, gaslighting, which is another form of lying. Yeah, you don't tolerate that either. So, really look at your list of deal breakers. If this person is calling you names, get the hell out. So, there it is. All right, guys, on Sunday, I will be talking about the normal things that happen during healing. That we kind of feel crazy, but no, that's normal. So, we're going to be talking about normalizing healing. So, you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you on Sunday. Bye.